And a good evening to everybody that's able to join us. Yes, I'm in my car again, and I'll continue to do this until we maybe figure out why a connection has issues. But this is Tuesday evening, and I just hope that everybody, wherever you happen to be, that you're doing very, very well, and that your day is as gorgeous as ours is here in Indiana. Though it is a little bit cool and windy today. But we are in chapter 21 of the book of Revelation. If you would like to be looking along, one of my favorite chapters of the book of Revelation. And this is really in some ways the climax of the book. This, when you get to the end of a movie and everything finally comes together. This happens in chapter 21, and I'll just start reading at verse 1. This is Revelation chapter 21. Verse 1, then I saw, this is John, of course, he's been guiding us through all of his dreams and visions. He says, I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. Interesting that he comments on the sea, but for them historically, the Israelites, the Jewish people, excuse me, never really developed as a maritime nation. They did not have a navy. For them, the sea was a place of danger. It was foreboding. You really didn't want to have anything to do with that. And it became the sort of a symbol for the place of evil for them. So in different places in the Bible, you'll see where they'll say that the sea was to be avoided. It was a place to be gone. And this is one of those, a symbolic way of saying that, a heaven, which is where God and his angels were, but as you see throughout the Bible, Satan comes and goes. So there is the presence of evil there. Obviously, if you live on the earth, that one of in some ways, the main issue of Revelation is that there is evil everywhere, and so the places of evil, all of this is going to go away, even if we have to make a brand new heaven, a brand new earth without any sea, without any evil. He's preparing for this. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, see, or look, the home of God is among mortals, among people. He will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away. And the one who was seated on the throne said, see, or look, I am making all things new. Also he said, write this, for these words are trustworthy and true. Then he said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water as a gift from the spring of the water of life. Those who conquer will inherit these things, and I will be their God, and they will be my children. But as for the cowardly, he then goes on to list a number of the grievous sins that were really quite common and the norm in the first century world in the Roman Empire. That will all be gone. It will be no more. This is where all this is going, and so for me, in many ways, we're ending this very challenging book with a celebration. You hear me say this a lot. One of the things that sets Christianity apart from other religions is that more than others, we are a faith of celebration. we recognize the amazing good that is in this world, even when there is the presence of heartache and sorrow and evil. This past Sunday morning on my way to church, I'm about a mile or so away, driving down Highway 63, and I'm about a mile away from the church, and I have to slow down because there's an object in the road ahead. And I slow down, and it was, at this point, I would ask you to guess what it was. It was, people have guessed anywhere from deer to skunk to possum and raccoon. But there was, right in front of my car, as I slowed down, a bald eagle. And I've seen, we do have bald eagles that live in this part of Indiana, so it's not all that unusual to see one, but I never had to stop for one that was right in front of my car and didn't really care to move. And it was a glorious sight, and as I got really close to it, it flew away. Whatever was in the road, it was after didn't want to leave it behind, but I thought about how excited I was and how thrilling it was to be that close to a bald eagle. And it reminded me that in this world, there really are inspiring, amazing, surprising things. And to me, when those things happen, they are a glimpse of what is to come. While it may be unusual for me to be that excited to see something, this will be the norm. And what will make it the norm? It will be the very presence of God in our lives. Now, if you think about this passage of Scripture, if you've ever been to a funeral service that I have led, I almost always share this passage. It's probably my favorite passage of hope because it speaks to where our loved ones go when they leave this earth, and it's worth reminding ourselves of this, that all of this ends with us being in the very presence of God. And as you hear me mention regularly, because I think it's worth repeating, that when our loved ones leave this world, they do not grieve the way we do because they are in the presence of God. And when I think about being in the presence of the one who created me, who created us and created everything, my little life on this planet is going to be so short and so small in comparison to the eternity that you, by God's grace, that we will spend with Him. Again, it's a reminder that we have a faith of celebration. We have glimpses of that glory even now, today, no matter how horrible, and you don't have to watch the news long to see how horrible this world sometimes is. We are the ones that recognize the amazing and glorious presence of God when it takes place. We don't allow the evil of this world and the sins that are listed there. They do not take over our mind and our heart. But instead we focus on the coming celebration of God when He will dwell with us. We will be with Him. There will be no tears, no more death, mourning, crying. All these things will be gone. Not simply because these problems are gone, but because now we are in the presence of the very one who created us. And the vision that He has is the arrival of the New Jerusalem. Beginning in verse 9, then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls full of the seven last plagues came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." Now again, this is the one, we're talking about someone who's involved in the destruction of evil, is now presenting to us where all this ends up. In the Spirit, He carried me away, John says, to a great high mountain, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. There is so much symbolism here. we could spend a lot of time talking about each of these, but to see the very arrival of our eternal existence with God, he takes them up on a mountain. And, you think about the Bible and the times in the Bible where somebody has a very unique and special connection with God to perceive and witness his glory. You go on a mountaintop like Moses did to receive the invitation to follow him to the promised land. So when you go to that mountaintop, that's where you are able to witness what God is about to do. So he takes them on a high mountain, and the holy city is coming down from out of heaven from God. It has the glory of God in a radiance like a very rare jewel, like jasper, clear as crystal. It has a great high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and on the gates are inscribed the names of the 12 tribes of the Israelites. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates. He goes on to describe this, and again you see the number 12 again and again. The symbols of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 disciples. This number signifies that all of God's people are going to be represented here. In verse 15, the angel who talked to me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the city and its gates and its walls. How many of us have tools at home? Any of them made out of gold? Okay, this measuring rod is not a tool so much to accomplish anything. It's more of a ceremonial tool, you will, kind of like when there's about to be the construction of a new building, people will gather with gold shovels to dig the first where the foundation is going to be. That's kind of what this is to demonstrate the glorious aspects of this new city, Jerusalem. The city lies 4 square, its length the same as its width, and he measured the city with his rod, 1,500 miles. If you look, though, in the original Greek, it's 12,000 stadia. So he's really, again, playing with numbers. When you see the number 12, you think about the spiritual symbolism of this, the spiritual presence of God and his people you see in every aspect of his vision. He measured the city, 1,500 miles, its length and width and height are equal. He also measured its wall, 144 cubits, by human measurement, which the angel was using. The wall is built of jasper, while the city pure gold, clear as glass. The foundations of the wall of the city are adorned with every jewel. The first was jasper, and he goes on to mention about every precious jewel you can think of. And again, if you were going to have a vision, if you were going to witness the arrival of the city of God, what is the most beautiful, the most amazing thing you can use? And this is what he does, is he goes with gold, with jewels. The shape of the city is what? If you think about the numbers, and he's describing a cube. It's in the shape of a tremendously large cube. And why would it be in the shape of a cube? Well, geometrically, that is a perfect form. So even from a distance, its outward form signifies the perfection of this unique, special place of God. He says in verse 21, the 12 gates are 12 pearls. Each of the gates is a single pearl. The street of the city is pure gold, transparent as glass. If you were to witness this, what are the most precious, the most beautiful, the most inspiring objects and ideas that you could ever, that your mind can conceive? This is where you would use to describe this. He says, I saw no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb. And And the city has no need of sun or moon to shine in it, for the glory of God is its light, and its lamp is a lamb. The nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. Its gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night there. People will bring into it the glory and the honor of the nations. But nothing unclean will ever enter it, nor anyone who practices abomination or falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now, interestingly, you stop and think about it. If you were going to watch the very city of God, and again, what is the name of it? Jerusalem. The city of Salem, as in Salem United Methodist Church. Salem is a form of shalom, which is peace. The city of peace. Whenever we think of Jerusalem, the city of peace, that for thousands of years has been the place of warfare and division and heartache, as sometimes it even is today. And yet, there, when the New Jerusalem finally arrives, the first thing I want to do is go see what is the church going to look like. In the very city of God, what is the church going to be like? And there is no church. There is no temple. There is no house of worship. We don't need a house of worship, because our very existence in the city of peace will be church. Life will be church. Everything that we are, everything that we do will be church. And it will truly and finally be the city of shalom, the city of peace. So I think in a lot of ways, as we get to near the end of this book, John is really hoping that we're asking, what does this mean to me? How do I fit into this, into these visions? Well, how do I fit into the plan that God has for His created universe and my place in it? And this is where we need to think about who we are. An interesting thing happened to me last Wednesday night. I went to the Bubble to play tennis. And as different groups finished playing, they worked their way to the front entrance. There's a little lobby and there's a restroom in there. And I got my group finished before many of the others did. So I left and I'm getting cleaned up. I'm in the restroom. And while I'm in it, you can hear the people coming out of the main area, the tennis area, into the lobby, and you can hear them speaking. And all of a sudden, I heard my name. Have you ever done that, where you can hear people around you talking, all of a sudden you overhear your name? There's nothing that gets your attention like hearing your name. And the people were talking about me. And I got kind of excited because, you know, there's a part of us that is interested in how other people see us. And of course, our society really goes to great lengths to teaching us how to be polite and thoughtful and careful about the feelings of others. Not that everybody learns how to do that well. But when you overhear people talking about you and they don't know that you're able to hear that, you're thinking, I'm going to find out what people really think about me. Now, it was really kind of fun because they were actually, as I was listening and able to listen, they were saying some really nice things, and I really appreciated that. And what I'd like to have done is thrown the door open, jumped out, and said, "Excuse me, could you say that again?" I would like to write this down and have it notarized for future reference. But that desire to really know who I really am, to not only just how other people see me, but how does God see me? So I hope that we would all read this as an invitation to be open with ourselves in a way maybe we never have been before, and invite God to help us to see who we really are, and how we fit into his eternal plans for our life, not just now, but for eternity, and in that ultimate city of God where we will know his eternal peace. So I hope this is inspiring. I'm hoping it's challenging to you as it is to me. And I, of course, invite you to check out chapter 22. So probably one more sermon, and we will finish with the book of Revelation. But whether it's in the church or in my car next week, we will cover that. And I hope that the book of Revelation has given you many of opportunities to meditate, to read these passages over. This passage that I use in funeral passages so many times is one that I like to go to, and I would encourage you to find this or other passages that inspire you in the most wonderful and beautiful ways. So I will let you go. God bless you all wherever you are. I hope to see you soon. Bye.